and welcome back to another lyrical breakdown with me, your lady friend, Bonnie. How are you guys? I'm happy to be here. How are you? Just to let you guys know, if you haven't been here before, I do some lyrical breakdowns, and I'm no expert, but I will do my darndest. And that's pretty much the disclaimer I'm going to give you. I'm not an expert. This is just my opinion and just kind of breaking it down, like based off of what I know, and that's pretty much all you can base things off of. So, this week's song that I am breaking down for you guys, we're switching it up. I think this is the first girl I'm actually doing. I think this is like, and that's a disgrace. I need to do more women. In the song sense, not in any other sense. But this week I'm doing Eve, Love is Blind. This came out September 14th, 1999. It's I don't know. I just kind of like, I was trying to figure out what song to do for this week, and I came across this song, and I thought the message was really good, and it's been like a hot minute. I haven't heard much about Eve. Maybe I've just been like sleeping on like what she's been up to, but she's always like a good, powerful, fun chick, and she kind of reminds me of like my youth a little bit. She was definitely around. She's fun. So this week, like I said, I'm doing Love is Blind. And this was pretty interesting. I did end up, because I was kind of looking through the internet and seeing what, people were saying about it. And I came across a Queen Latifah when she had her like talk show or whatever it was I can't really remember what it was. I don't know. Maybe does she still have it? I don't know. Let me know if you know down below. And so Eve and like her like high school girlfriend, she like they were on the show to talk about this song, and like her friend is who this song is about. So, and it was kind of interesting, like kind of hearing like their firsthand perspective of kind of like what happened, and like as we'll soon find out, kind of this is like obviously a little bit of an enhanced version, but still some of the things are like pretty close to the truth, unfortunately. Let's give it a little bit of a listen, and then we can get into it. What you think is love is truly not. You need to elevate and find. Okay, so verse 1. Hey, yo, I don't even know you and I hate you. See, all I know is that my girlfriend used to date you. How would you feel if she held you down and raped you? Tried and tried, but she never could escape you. She was in love, and I'd ask her, why? What kind of love from a blank would black your eye? What kind of love from a blank every night make you cry? What kind of love from a blank make you wish he would die? So, right away, she doesn't, she's kind of saying, like, I don't even know you. Like, maybe she didn't meet this guy, but she hates him. Like, she doesn't need to know him because she hates him based off of, like, everything that she's seeing. And, it's obviously something that's happening to, like, one of her close friends. And then she goes into the story a little bit more. You used to date one of her friends. And she knew all, like, the details, obviously, from, like, whenever you're having trouble and you talk to your girlfriends, like, yeah, of course you're going to, like, spill the beans on what's happening in your life. So, and then Eve gets, she's pretty angry, in this song when she's talking, like, kind of to, like, the guy a little bit, or, like, giving her thoughts about him. So she's questioning, like, how would you like being raped, in the same way when you couldn't, like, escape? She felt like she was stuck there, and, because she was in love with him, and, even though this was, like, a super painful situation that she's in, and it obviously, like, causes her to have low self-esteem if she doesn't think that she can get someone better than this. There's obviously some sort of, like, deeper feelings involved, I guess. But, like, he's obviously, like, working on those and, like, kind of, like, manipulating them, I guess. So Eve couldn't understand why she loved him, even though, like, he beat her and made her cry, and, that even, like, she wished for his death just to stop, like, the pain and the suffering. And yeah, it's a really shitty situation to be in. So let's keep going. I mean, shit, he bought you things and gave you diamond rings, but them things wasn't worth none of the pain that he brings. And you stayed. What made you fall for him? That blank had the power to make you crawl for him. I thought you was a doctor be on call for him. Smacked you down because he thought you were too tall for him. Huh, that wasn't love, baby girl. You was dreaming. I could have killed you when you said your seed was growing from his semen. So, yeah. She's obviously like a very caring friend, very passionate friend, and so she's pretty upset with like what's happening like to her friend, the situation that she's in, and she's trying to help her, but you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, kind of. You can't force her to do something. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys know that expression? Maybe it's just like me. Me looking like a cowgirl today. That all makes sense. So anyways, so she loves this guy, and he's buying her expensive things. So maybe it seemed like, he was making it seem like he loved her. He was buying, all this jewelry and stuff and be like, oh, baby, like I thought of you, here's this ring. And then like later on, he like beats her. So it's kind of like a shitty message that she's getting. And obviously, like, his behavior wasn't showing that he loved her. He's just kind of, like, buying her attention, I guess. Or, I don't know. I don't know. It sucks. He's obviously very hurtful. So Eve can't understand, like, why she stayed with him again. But she was in love with the guy, and he had control over her. But she kind of also allowed him to have that control. I think... And here, like the next line, it kind of made me think of like either one or two things. Either the girl is like educated and, enough to have like a doctorate, or she's about to become a doctor. But clearly she's only like book smart and she's not like life smart or street smart, because she wouldn't be in this situation otherwise. Or maybe she would. I don't know. I shouldn't speak like that anyways. I think everyone ends up in like these situations, and it's not always like, because of certain things. And then otherwise, like, I think it kind of means because, the next line is like that she's on call. And so maybe because, she's on call for like his, his demands and whatever that he tells her to do. And like, she's quick to like jump and do whatever he wants. So it could be kind of like that as well. And like any stupid little thing like makes him beat her. Like, he beat her just because like in the line, she was too tall. And, like, that's also something that's going to affect your self-esteem. And you're going to try to, like, be smaller. And you're not going to feel confident and tall, if you're being told things like that. Because that's something that you can't change. And then, he remembers... Eve remembers how upset she was when her friend told her that she was pregnant with this guy's baby. Because now she knows that, basically she'll be stuck with this guy, or at least he'll be, in her life somehow for forever, essentially. And like, if she stays with him and has this kid with him, that it's also not a good, obviously, environment to be raising a baby in or kids in, because, she's getting the beats, and, that's not nice to be brought up in that. And it's going to, the kid could also get hit as well. Anyways, so then it moves on to the refrain. Love is blind, and it will take over your mind. What you think is love is truly not. You need to elevate and find. And then, it happens again for a second time. And this is basically, love makes you do stupid things and makes you make, silly decisions sometimes. And it will make you think that, what you're thinking is love, but maybe it's not actually, when you like look at the whole bigger picture of things. And sometimes you just need to like get kind of pulled out of that situation and get over it, and move on up to someone that's really going to love you. And I think especially if, if you're in like a situation that's like this, or, you just broke up with like someone that's abusive or whatever. So then you can like move up and find someone that really loves you, instead of staying in like that situation that like causes you pain and suffering all the time. There's always a way out. Okay, so verse 2. I don't even know you, and I'd kill you myself. You played with her like a doll and put her back on the shelf. Wouldn't let her go to school and be herself. She had a baby by your ass, and you ain't giving no help. Big time hustler, snake motherfucker. One's born every day, and every day she was your sucker. How could you beat the mother of your kids? How could you tell her that you love her, but then don't give a fuck if she lives? Right? So yeah, I mean, she's obviously, again, expressing her thoughts towards him, and that she really wants to kill him again, because, and then kind of saying that, you abused her and you left her damaged and like, kind of like, fuck you a little bit. And you stopped her from going to school and pursuing her education and like, doing something that she wanted to do. Obviously she was passionate about it and she wanted to go and do that. And then so this kind of makes me think that she was studying to be a doctor, like, from the last verse. So yeah. And then she obviously, like, this is later on, like when she's kind of talking about that she'd had the baby by now, and she wasn't supporting him, or sorry, he wasn't supporting her at all. And so she's kind of like calling him out for being like a bad guy. And then there's like the expression, there's a sucker born every minute, and it's like there's always someone that you can take advantage of. And so she's kind of the person that, he took advantage of in this case. He's obviously like a con artist, basically. And she's kind of like the sucker who fell for his abuse, unfortunately, and his like love. So she's probably yelling at him, kind of like, how could you beat her? She's the mother of your kids. And he still like manipulates her, by saying that he loves her, but then doesn't give a shit about her and like abuses her. And obviously, like, this is like mental and physical abuse. It's both happening here at the same time. So obviously he's got issues of his own if he has to do things like that. He's probably not the nicest of person, or like just needs a little bit of help. But yeah. So Eve definitely has like, she's pretty pissed off that this happened, I guess. But told me that she would, so anyway, sorry, I'll keep going. She told me she would leave you. I admit it, she did, but she came back, made up a lie about you missing your kids, sweet kisses, baby, and even know she was your mistress, had to deal with fist fights and phone calls from your bitches, floss like you possess her, telling me to mind my own business, said that it was her life and stay the fuck out of it. I tried and said just for him, I'll keep a clip. I tried and said just for him, I'll keep a ready clip. So she's kind of telling the guy that, her friend was going to leave her or leave him. So it was going to happen. And she said it. And then, maybe she left and she, she packed up the kids and everything like that. And then she like, she convinced herself and she kind of talked herself out of it that, the kids were missing him and, he was missing the kids. And so, she came back and he probably barely noticed. Or, I mean, that's something that I would assume. So yeah, that's unfortunate. And then she kind of drops another like bomb here. That her friend didn't even know that she was the side chick, and he had other ladies and he had like other, he obviously wasn't faithful to this poor woman, just getting like taken advantage of. And he's probably doing this to like multiple women. So he's not a very nice guy. And then like she has to like deal with like harassment, like harassing phone calls and like fist fights and people probably like showing up and like, I don't know, like asking like who she is and whatever. And she's just trying, I don't know if she's trying to stay out of it, but like, it just sucks that like you're getting beat up from your boyfriend and then you're getting beat up by your boyfriend's partners. Like, that sucks. Yeah. So, and then like he kind of shows off around her or something like that. Probably some asshole shitty way. And he's telling Eve to like mind her own business and stay out of it. It's her life, like, and that's it. But anybody who's been in like Eve's like shoes in this kind of like a situation knows it's not just that easy to just stay away. And like, especially if it's happening to like someone close to you that you love, like, your friend or your family member. It's definitely hard to like just like step back a little bit when you are just so involved and you just don't want them to get like hurt by this person. You're obviously trying to like protect them. And she said that she tried and she, She tried to step away a little bit, but she always kept a bullet ready for him just in case. So sounds like she might need it at some point. And then we have like the refrain or the hook again. Love is blind and it will take over your mind. What you think is love is truly not. You need to elevate and find. And then again, it happens one more time. And let's get into verse 3. I don't even know you and I want you dead. Don't know the facts, but I saw the blood pour from her head. See, I lay down beside her in the hospital bed, and about 2 hours later, doctors said she was dead. I had the nerve to show up at my mother's house the next day, at her mother's house the next day, to come and pay your respects and help the family pray. Even knelt down on one knee and let a tear drop, and before you had the chance to get up, you heard my gun cock. So, for the third time, this is the third verse. So it starts off, she wants to kill him even though she doesn't know him. So it starts off that way again. And she doesn't know exactly what happened but she saw the result of what he did to her, to her friend. She ends up in the hospital, and her head's bleeding. And then not very long after, whatever had happened caused her to die. So he basically murdered her. And not someone that, you love. That he's obviously a terrible person. And so Eve is obviously hella angry, and rightfully so. And when she says that, she talks about him having the nerve to kind of show up at, like, the mother-in-law's, basically, like, the dead girl's mother, the house the following day to, like, kind of give his respects and whatever, and then, like, help pray with them. And, like, that's just, like, the kind of shit that, like, exactly like an abuser would do. Like, he did such a terrible thing. He hurt her, and then he kind of, like, sucks up and, like, acts like such a nice guy after, like, all of this abuse. Like, he just tries to be like, oh, it wasn't, I didn't do it on purpose. Like, it wasn't my fault. I really loved her, and da-da-da. Like, it's probably just, like, the same sort of crap. And, he obviously acts the part very well. And then when he's, like, down on his knees praying, Eve kind of, like, comes up, I guess, and she's just kind of, like, cocks her gun, obviously pointing it at him. So let's find out what happens. Praying to me now, I ain't God, but I'll pretend I ain't start your life, but blank, I'ma bring it to an end. And I did. Clear shots and no regrets, never. Cops come and lock me up under the jail. Blank, whatever my bitch, fuck it, my sister. You can never figure out, even if I let you live, what our love was about. I consider her my blood, and it don't come no thicker. So, yeah. So you better pray that Eve doesn't kill you right now. She's kind of like playing God because she's in control. She's got the gun. She's got the power over this guy. This guy, finally is at like a weak point, I guess. And she's going to end his life. And then she says that she did and shot him, and she has no regrets, because this guy was obviously a terrible person. And she doesn't really care, like, the cops will come and lock her up. Because, and she's just kind of like, you don't understand what it's all about. She did it for someone that she loved. And, like, that's what's, like, kind of like a true love. But, like, love is blind in the sense that for her love for her dead friend made her do something crazy and, obviously ended up with her in jail. But this is a fictitious story. She doesn't actually do that. She's not in jail. But also because he's an asshole and deserves it. I would, probably have the same sort of, like, angry passion if something like that was happening to, like, one of my friends or, like, someone that I'm really close to. If someone was being abused, you get so angry and you almost want to kill them. And, like, I feel like this is something more dealt with. I feel like, when I was, like, a teenager and stuff like that, there was more people in my life that were involved in, like, these kinds of relationships. And I feel like as I've grown up, there's been less and less and less. Like, I'm not sure if, like, somehow I've, like, lost those people in my life, but maybe everybody just kind of, like, smartened up and, like, stopped doing it. That's not to say that, like, older people aren't also being, involved in, like, abusive relationships, because I'm sure they unfortunately are. But yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know. I feel like at some point someone teaches someone a lesson and maybe they stop acting like that, but I feel like it isn't always like that. But yeah, I mean, if you are in a relationship like that, you know, maybe try to like figure out a way to escape or get out of it if you can. Ask for help. And if you are one of these abusers, don't be one of these abusers. Yeah, because you'll get it in the end. You know, it's gonna come at you. So, yeah, anyways, on a light note, so yeah, don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you liked this and you want to see more of this. Special thanks to our patrons over on Patreon, Ishmael Gadamsi, Super Old School 1994, and Lindell Williams. So thank you guys so much for continuing to support us. And yeah, let us know if you guys want to see any other lyrical breakdowns or any other songs that you want me to check out, and I will add them to my gigantic list of you know, requested songs for you guys to break down. So yeah, I think that's about it for me. Hope you have a great week. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.